Hello, time traveler. Whether you're drifting off to the gentle hum of a fan, sipping tea on a cool evening, or hiding from the world under a blanket, I'm glad you're here. Take a moment and drop a comment below. Where are you tuning in from, and what time is it in your part of the world? Is it 2 a.m. and you're battling sleep, or a lunch break and you're pretending to work? No worries, I won't tell anyone. You're safe here. Now, dim the lights, find that perfect pillow angle, and let's journey to a world of dust, dreams, and gold. It's 1851, and we're in Australia, a raw, sprawling land where the sun's a tyrant and the horizon promises both fortune and heartbreak. This is the tale of the Australian gold rush, a fever that gripped a continent and pulled thousands into its dusty embrace. You're not a fancy governor sipping tea in a shady office, nor a squatter with a mansion and a flock of sheep. You're a digger with dirt under your nails, hope in your heart, and boots that have seen better days. Your foes, the heat, the flies, and the nagging doubt that you might have bet everything on a fool's dream. In this episode, we'll set the stage, the spark that lit the gold rush, the gritty reality of colonial Australia, and the life of our guide, Jack Murphy, a man who's as stubborn as he is hopeful. We'll weave in just enough history to ground the story, laced with a touch of irony and a wink at the absurdity of chasing shiny rocks in a sunburnt land. There's a mystery brewing, too, something about a hidden creek and a sound in the night. So, settle in. We're heading to a place where one glint can change everything. A land on the edge. Let's paint Australia in 1851. It's not the bustling nation of today, with its beaches and baristas. It's a collection of British colonies, raw and rough around the edges. Sydney's the biggest hub, a port town of about 50,000 souls, with muddy streets and a mix of grand stone buildings and rickety shacks. Beyond the cities, the land stretches out wild, golden plains, tangled bush, and hills that bake under a relentless sun. This is a place where summer can hit 40 degrees Celsius, 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Winter nights nip at your bones, and the locals, mostly sheep, outnumber the people. The colonies, New South Wales, Victoria, and a few others, are still shaking off their penal roots. From 1788 to the 1840s, Britain shipped over 160,000 convicts here, often for crimes as petty as pinching a loaf. By 1851, New South Wales has mostly stopped taking convicts, but Victoria's still a destination for the chained. Freed convicts, called emancipists, rub shoulders with free settlers, creating a society where your past matters more than your manners. At the fringes are the indigenous Australians, whose lands are being carved up by settlers, their way of life under siege. It's a land of opportunity, sure, but also one of struggle, where wealth feels like a mirage. The economy runs on wool. Sheep stations sprawl across the plains, sending fleeces to Britain's mills. But life's no picnic for the average Joe. If you're a labourer, you're scraping by on meagre wages. If you're a farmer, you're praying the drought doesn't kill your crops. And if you're a dreamer, well, you're probably staring at the stars, wishing for a break. That break comes in February 1851, when a man named Edward Hargraves strolls into the picture like a showman with a script. Hargraves, a merchant with more charm than cash, had just returned from California's gold rush. He looks at the hills near Bathurst and thinks, "This feels familiar." He pans along Lewis Ponds Creek, finds a few flecks of gold, and decides he's struck the mother lode, or at least he's going to tell everyone he has. Hargraves doesn't just find gold, he sells the idea of it. He writes to the Sydney Morning Herald, hyping up Australia's potential, and by May 1851, the government's on board, declaring a goldfield. Was he the first? Hardly. Indigenous folks knew about gold for ages, and whispers of shiny finds had floated around for years. But Hargreaves had a knack for timing, and his announcement hits like a thunderclap. The government, smelling money, slaps a 30-shilling monthly license fee on diggers, a hefty sum, like asking a barista to pay a week's wages just to pour coffee. It's meant to keep order, but it's also a tax on hope. By mid-1851, Bathurst is swarming with diggers, farmers, clerks, even sailors who've jumped ship. The news spreads overseas, pulling in folks from Britain, Ireland, and beyond. Australia's population, around 400,000 in 1850, will nearly triple in a decade. This isn't just a gold rush, it's a tidal wave, reshaping everything it touches. The goldfields, a dusty dreamscape. Now let's step onto the goldfields. Imagine hills scarred with pits, dotted with gum trees and canvas tents that flap in the wind. The air's a mix of dust and sweat, so thick you can taste it. Diggers swarm the creeks, their pans flashing like mirrors. The sun's a bully, turning your hat into a soggy rag by noon, while nights are cold enough to make you miss your mum's old quilt. Water's rarer than a kind word from a tacksman, and you'll pay more for a bucket than a meal. Panning for gold is the main game here. You scoop dirt from a creek bed, swirl it with water, and hope for a speck of yellow. It's simple but brutal. Hours of bending, sifting, and swearing as your back begs for mercy. Some diggers use cradles, wooden contraptions that process more dirt, but they need a team and a prayer. Later, when the easy gold runs dry, folks will dig shafts for quartz veins, risking cave-ins for a shot at glory. For now, it's all about the creeks, where every glint is a promise. The goldfields are a human stew. You've got British lads dreaming of a quick fortune, Irishmen like our Jack escaping hunger, and Chinese diggers who'll arrive soon, working with a focus that puts everyone else to shame. There are women, too, some panning, others cooking or running tents, their hands as tough as any man's. Even a few indigenous folks work as guides, though their names rarely make the stories. It's a place where accents clash, tempers flare, and hope keeps everyone moving. But it's not all work. The camp's alive with makeshift markets, tents selling picks, bacon, or whiskey that could double as paint thinner. At night, fiddles sing, and diggers swap tales of big finds or bad luck. There's a grog shop where you can drown your sorrows, a barber who's more butcher than artist, and a trader or two who'll sell you a sure thing map for the price of your pride. It's chaotic, but there's a strange charm to it, like a party where everyone's broke but still dancing. Meet Jack Murphy. Our guide through this madness is Jack Murphy, a 29-year-old Irishman who's seen more hardship than most and still got a grin to show for it. Born in County Cork in 1822, Jack grew up on a tenant farm where the potato famine hit like a hammer. By 1847, he was starving and desperate, caught stealing bread and a pint of ale after a rowdy night in a pub. It wasn't his first scrape. Jack's fists had a reputation, but it earned him 7 years' transportation to Australia. He landed in Sydney in 1848, a wiry lad with red hair and a grin that said, "I've seen worse." By 1851, Jack's a free man, working odd jobs in Melbourne. Life's tough, wages barely cover rent, and the city's buzzing with rumours of gold. When Hargreaves' find hits the papers, Jack's one of the first to pack a bag. He arrives in Bathurst in June, pays his 30-shilling licence, and stakes a claim by Lewis Ponds Creek. His dream? A nugget big enough to buy a ticket home. Maybe a patch of land where he can grow spuds without fear of blight. It's a long shot, but Jack's used to playing bad hands. Jack's no storybook hero. He's short, with freckles like a star map, and a smile that's half charm, half defiance. His hands are calloused, his back sore, and his boots are more whole than leather. He's got a stubborn streak, a quick tongue, and a habit of talking to himself when the flies get too bold. Jack's not alone, though. He's befriended a kangaroo he calls Patrick, a scruffy beast with a knack for stealing damper and a stare that suggests he's judging Jack's life choices. "You're no help," Jack mutters when Patrick nicks a crust, but he's secretly fond of the rogue. Jack's camp is humble. A canvas tent that leaks when it rains, a straw mattress that's mostly itch, and a fire pit for cooking. His worldly goods: a tin cup, a battered pan, and a single sock he's oddly proud of. He lives on damper and beans, with tea when he can afford it, and dreams of a day when he won't have to ration hope. The heat's his biggest foe, turning his tent into a sauna, while the flies treat him like their personal playground. Still, Jack's got a spark, call it grit, call it madness, that keeps him going. Jack's first steps in the rush. Let's follow Jack through his first week in Bathurst. It's July 1851, and the goldfields are a hive of noise, pans clanging, diggers shouting, and the occasional curse when someone's pan spills. Jack's claim is a muddy patch he's dubbed Murphy's Hope, marked by a stick and a lot of faith. He's watched other diggers, so he tries panning. Scoop dirt, add water, swirl and squint. Sounds easy, right? Wrong. The pan's heavy, the water's murky, and his first try sends half the dirt back to the creek. "Grand start, Jack," he grumbles, wiping mud from his face. The work's punishing. By midday, the sun's a furnace, and Jack's shirt is glued to his skin. He sips from a canteen, but the water's warm and tastes like disappointment. Around him, diggers are a mixed bag. Some find tiny flakes, others just rocks that mock them with a false shine. Jack's first day ends with nothing but a blister and a bruised ego. He slumps back to his tent, wondering if he's swapped one hard life for another. Patrick's there, chewing a stick and giving him a look that says, "Told you so." But Jack's not a quitter. Day 2, he's back at it, a bit wiser. He meets William Old Wolf Thompson, a digger who looks like he's been carved from the bush itself. William's in his late 50s, with a beard like a bramble and eyes that see through you. He claims he panned in California, made a fortune, then lost it to cards and a woman with a smile like trouble. Jack's not sure what's true, but William's kind enough to show him a trick. "Let the water do the work, lad. Don't wrestle it." Jack tries, and by day 3, he finds his first gold, a speck so small it's barely a whisper, but it's enough to make his heart skip. "That's a start," he says, tucking it into a vial like it's a piece of the moon. William's more than a teacher. He's a storyteller. Over a fire, he spins yarns of California's goldfields. Nuggets big as eggs, diggers who went mad with greed. But there's a shadow in his tales. "Gold's a tricky beast," he says, puffing his pipe. "It gives, but it takes too." Jack nods, too caught up in his own dreams to dwell on it. He's got plans, a pub in Ireland, a life where he's not scraping by. But William's words linger, like dust you can't quite shake. The bigger picture. Jack's story is one of thousands. The gold rush is reshaping Australia, turning sleepy colonies into boom towns. In 1851, New South Wales pulls 26,000 ounces of gold from the ground, worth a fortune. Soon, Victoria will take the lead, with fields like Ballarat and Bendigo spitting out millions. The rush draws a flood of newcomers. By 1860, Australia's population will hit 1.1 million. Cities like Sydney and Melbourne swell, their streets packed with hopefuls. Prices skyrocket. A loaf of bread costs triple what it did a year ago, and a decent shovel might set you back a week's wages. The rush isn't just about money, it's about people. It pulls in all sorts. Doctors who've traded stethoscopes for shovels, labourers betting everything on a claim, women who work as hard as any man. It's a place where a nobody can dream big, where the class rules of Britain feel a bit looser. But it's not all rosy. The influx strains the land. Rivers are muddied, forests chopped for firewood. Indigenous Australians bear the worst of it, their lands overrun, their voices ignored. The government cares more about gold than justice, and that's a wound that won't heal easy. Whispers of trouble. Back in Bathurst, Jack's finding his feet, but the goldfields are a restless place. The licence fee's a sore spot. 30 shillings a month is a kick in the teeth when you're finding scraps. Inspectors, or traps, patrol the creeks, demanding papers and fining anyone who's short. Jack's seen a digger hauled off for forgetting his licence in his tent, his claim snatched by a rival. It's a system that breeds resentment, and the camp's starting to grumble. Then there's Frederick Sharp-Nose Harris, a trader who's all charm and no conscience. Frederick sells maps that promise riches but deliver dirt, and his smile's about as trustworthy as a snake's. Jack's caught him watching the diggers, like he's sizing them up for something. One evening, by the grog shop, Jack overhears Frederick muttering to two rough blokes about a special claim near a creek. "Gold's there, but keep it quiet," he says, his voice low. "Trouble if it gets out." Jack doesn't know what it means, but it's got his curiosity buzzing like a fly. William's acting odd too. He's generous with tips, but cagey about his own digging. Jack's noticed his pan's always clean, like he's not working as hard as he lets on. One night, over tea, William slips up, mentioning a golden creek. He brushes it off, but Jack's not buying the act. Is it a real place, or just another of William's tales?
And why does Patrick keep sniffing the air at night, like he's caught a scent Jack can't? As Jack settles into his tent, the stars bright overhead, he can't shake the feeling that something's stirring. Frederick's whispers, William's secrets, and the growing anger over licenses are like sparks in dry grass. Then, as he's drifting off, he hears it again, that strange rhythmic sound from the creek, steady as a heartbeat. It's not just water, someone's out there, digging in the dark. Or maybe it's something else. Tomorrow Jack's going to tail William and get answers, whether it's gold or trouble. And with Patrick watching like a furry detective, he's got a feeling he's in for more than he bargained for. A restless night, the stars are fading over Bathurst, and Jack Murphy's staring at his tent's sagging roof, the rhythmic splash from the creek still echoing in his ears. It's August 1851, and that sound, steady, secretive, not just water, has him tossing on his itchy straw mattress. Was it a digger working the dark, or something else? Patrick, his freeloading kangaroo, snorts from the corner like he's got opinions but no answers. Last episode, Jack got his boots muddy in the gold rush, found a speck of gold, and stumbled into whispers of a place called Golden Creek. William Old Wolf Thompson's hiding something, Frederick Sharp-Nose Harris is scheming, and the goldfields are buzzing with hope and trouble. Jack's not sure if he's chasing a fortune or a fight, but he's too stubborn to back out now. We're diving deeper into the dusty heart of the Australian gold rush, where every glint in the pan is a promise and every shadow hides a catch. This episode, Jack's navigating camp life, think crooked tents, shadier deals, and tales that might be treasure or just hot air. Expect a bit of grit, a wink at the madness of it all, and a mystery that's sticking to Jack like dust to a sweaty brow. Let's jump in. The Goldfields' gritty rhythm picture. Bathurst in August 1851. The goldfields are a sprawl of tents and hopes, scattered across hills that look like they've been trampled by a cranky giant. The air's a dusty haze, so every breath's a gamble, and the sun's got a vendetta, turning your shirt to sludge by noon. Flies, bold as brass, swarm like they've got a lease on your face. It's not a holiday, it's a test, and the prize is a speck of gold that might just change your stars. Jack's been at it a month, and he's no longer dumping his pan in the creek. Progress, sort of. His claim's a muddy patch by Lewis Pond's creek, marked by a stick and a prayer he calls Murphy's Hope. He's up at dawn, when the air's still got a hint of mercy, choking down damper, bread's surly cousin, and tea that tastes like it's holding a grudge. Then it's off to the creek, panning alongside a ragtag crew, Irish lads like him, Cockney hustlers, Scots who reckon the gold's dodging them on purpose, and Chinese diggers whose precision makes Jack feel like he's flailing with a spoon. Panning's a cruel mistress. Scoop dirt, swirl with water, squint for yellow. It's like fishing for dreams, except your back's screaming and the fish are microscopic. Jack's hands are raw, his knees creak, and his haul so far. A vial of flakes barely worth a pint, and a pile of rocks he's dubbed the Fool's Gallery. Still, every tiny glint keeps him going. One proper nugget, he mutters, and I'm opening a pub in Cork, flies not invited. The goldfields aren't just dirt and sweat. They're a rough-edged world, like a fair where the rides are broken, but everyone's still queuing. Tents peddle picks, pans and maps that promise riches, but deliver regret. There's a blacksmith who charges like he's forging gold itself, a barber whose razor's a leap of faith, and a grog shop serving whiskey that could double as lamp fuel. At night the camp sparks to life, fiddles wail, voices rise, and tales of monster nuggets or cursed claims flow freer than the grog. It's a hard life, but there's a strange pull, like a bet you can't quit. Jack's corner of chaos. Jack's camp is less a home, more a suggestion. His tent sags like it's given up, held together by rope and optimism. Inside, there's a straw mattress that's all itch, a tin cup, a pan and boots that are more dream than leather. His pride and joy, a single clean sock guarded like a family heirloom. Outside, a fire pit chars his damper, and a stump serves as his throne for dreaming of Ireland, cold ale, and a fly-free world. He's not alone in this madness. Patrick, the kangaroo, has claimed Jack's camp as his personal diner. Scruffy, with a lopsided ear and a stare that says, "I've seen better." Patrick's less a pet, more a freeloader who occasionally scares off snakes. Jack's caught him eyeing the damper like a mastermind, and he swears the roo's plotting something. "You're on thin ice, mate," Jack grumbles, tossing him a crust, but there's a grin behind it. Then there's William Old Wolf Thompson, Jack's guide and the camp's resident tail spinner. William's pushing 60, with a beard like a storm cloud and eyes that twinkle with secrets. He claims he struck it rich in California, only to lose it to a dame and a dodgy deck. Jack's half sure it's Blarney, but William's panning tips have snagged him a few flakes, so he listens. "Gold's a tease, lad," William says, puffing his pipe. "Chase it too hard, it'll leave you panting." His laugh's like gravel, but there's a warmth to it, even if Jack's starting to wonder what's behind the winks. The camp's a gallery of characters. Mei Ling runs a noodle tent, her food a slice of heaven for a few flakes. She's in her 30s, with a sharp wit and hands scarred from work. Her smile rare, but worth more than gold. Father Thomas, the priest, preaches salvation on Sundays and cleans up at cards by Monday. And then there's Frederick Sharp-Nose Harris, the trader whose grin's as trustworthy as a paper bridge. Frederick's maps lead to misery, and Jack learned that the hard way, digging up nothing but ants and annoyance for his troubles. A digger's day, let's trail Jack through a day. He's up at first light, dodging Patrick's breakfast raid. He lights a fire, boils tea that tastes like sorrow, and gnaws damper tougher than his old landlord's heart. His pan's dented, thanks to a clumsy drop last week, but it's all he's got. At the creek, it's a circus, diggers shoulder to shoulder, panning, cursing, or cheering a find. Jack's claim, Murphy's Hope, is a muddy strip he's still got faith in. He scoops, swirls, and squints, the sun turning his hat to mush. Hours drag, his back's a chorus of complaints, and by noon he's got nothing but a fresh blister. Tomorrow's the day, he sighs, wiping dust from his eyes. Lunch is beans under a gum tree, with Patrick staring like he's tallying Jack's flops. Jack chats with Tommy, a Cockney who swears he saw a ghost, and Li Wei, a Chinese digger who pans like it's poetry. They trade tales of big strikes, but there's a shadow. The license fees are a knife in the ribs. At 30 shillings a month, it's robbery, and the traps, license inspectors, are getting nastier. Yesterday, a digger got fined for leaving his license in his tent, and Jack's feeling the pinch himself. Afternoons more panning, more pain. William's tricks help, and Jack finds a flake or two, enough for a grog shop beer, but not the pub in Cork. By dusk he's knackered, hands red, boots caked. Back at camp, the night's alive. Fiddles play, fires crackle, and the air's thick with mutton and hope. Jack joins William by a fire, where the old man's spinning a yarn about a California nugget so big it sank a cart. True as I'm sitting here, William winks and Jack chuckles, though he's not sure where the truth starts. The murmur of Golden Creek. Not all's campfire cheer. That rhythmic splash Jack's been hearing at night, steady like a secret, won't leave his head. He's mentioned it to William, who just shrugs and changes the topic. Jack's noticed other oddities. William's pan's always clean, like he's not digging as much as he claims. Last night Jack saw him slip into the bush after dark, quiet as a shadow. William's been a mate, but Jack's got questions. Frederick's stirring the pot too. Jack's kept an eye on the trader since overhearing his talk of a special claim. Frederick's sporting a new gold chain, flashy for a man who deals in dud maps. Jack's seen him whispering with rough types, Big Tom, a hulking ex-convict, and a bloke called Mate, which is never a good sign. Frederick's smirk sets Jack's teeth on edge, like a warning wrapped in a smile. One afternoon Jack's at Mei Ling's tent, trading flakes for noodles that taste like a miracle. May's chatty today, a rare treat. Mind that, Frederick, she says, slicing onions with a vengeance. Sold my cousin a map that led to a dry patch and a bad temper. Jack nods, slurping. He's on about some creek, he says. May's knife pauses. Golden Creek? Jack nearly chokes. You know it? She shrugs. Old stories, gold's there, but it's trouble. My pa said, take too much, and it takes you. Jack's not one for omens. He's dodged enough bad luck to know you make your own, but May's words stick. That night by the fire, William's spinning a tale of a California stream where gold was thick as gravel. Sounds like your Golden Creek, Jack says, fishing. William's pipe stalls. Did I say that? He mutters, forcing a laugh. Just old man talk, lad. Stick to your patch. His eyes don't match the grin, and Jack's gut says there's more to dig up. A deal gone sour. Next day, Jack's at his claim when Frederick swaggers over, all teeth and treachery. Murphy, mate, he beams, like they're old pals. Struggling, eh? Got a deal for you. Jack's wary. Frederick's deals are like gifts from a snake, but he listens. Frederick flashes a crumpled map, pointing to a starred spot. Prime claim, just up the hill. 10 shillings and it's yours. Jack smells a rat. 10 shillings is a week's beans, and Frederick's maps are notorious. But the star's near where that night sound hums, so curiosity wins. 5 shillings, Jack haggles, testing. Frederick squirms but agrees, too quick. Jack pays, grabs the map, and spends the afternoon digging. His haul, a bent nail and a rock that looks like a grumpy toad. Prime claim, my arse, Jack growls, kicking dirt. That evening, he's stewing by the fire when William appears, looking cagey. Heard you bought one of Frederick's maps, he says. Jack groans, 5 shillings down the drain. William chuckles, but it's tight. Stay clear of that spot, lad. It's bad news. Jack's done with hints. What's this Golden Creek business? You know something, don't you? William sighs, heavy as a sack of dirt. Some things are best left buried, Jack. Trust me. Trust's getting thin. Later, Jack's scrubbing his pan when he spots Frederick and Big Tom by the grog shop, voices low and sharp. He edges closer, ducking behind barrels. "You said it was a sure thing," Big Tom rumbles. Frederick hisses, "It is, but we gotta move quick. That creek's richer than Bathurst, but it ain't safe. You saw what happened to Jimmy." Jack's blood chills. Jimmy was a digger who vanished last week. Folks thought he'd bolted. Frederick's next words are ice. "Keep quiet, or you'll end up like him." A night in the bush, Jack's no hero. He's dodged brawls, snakes, and his Ma's wooden spoon back in Cork. But when he sees William sneak out of camp that night, he can't sit still. He grabs a lantern, tells Patrick to guard the tent. Patrick just flicks an ear and follows. The bush is dark as a bad mood, full of rustles that set Jack's heart thumping. William's moving fast toward the creek from Frederick's map. Jack stumbles over roots, cursing under his breath. He's no bushranger, and the bush knows it. A twig snaps, and he freezes, expecting Big Tom. It's just a possum, giving him a look that says, "Mate, go home." Jack presses on, spotting William by a narrow creek, not the main one. The water glints under moonlight, and William's panning, quick and quiet. Jack's about to call out when voices cut through. Frederick and Mate, shovels in hand, lanterns low. "You sure?" Mate mutters. Frederick snaps, "Sure as gold." Jimmy found it, got greedy. "We won't." William spots them, standing tall but pale. "This is my claim," he barks, voice shaky. Frederick's laugh is cold. "Old man, you're done. Hand it over, or we take it." Jack's not built for this, but he's not heartless. He grabs a rock, chucks it into the bushes, and yells, "Oi, traps!" like he's a license inspector. It's a gamble, but it works. Frederick and Mate scarper, thinking the law's coming. William scrambles to Jack, wheezing. "You mad bastard," he gasps. "That could have gone bad." Jack grins, pulse racing. "You're welcome. What's in the pan?" William hesitates, then shows a pea-sized nugget, pure gold. "Golden Creek," he whispers. "It's real, but it's cursed." They bolt back to camp, Jack's mind spinning. A real nugget, from a secret creek. But Frederick's talk of Jimmy and William's fear aren't just about gold. Something's off, and Jack's not sure he wants the answer. In his tent, Jack can't sleep. William's nugget feels heavier than it should, like it's pulling him into trouble. Frederick's out there, scheming, and Jimmy's vanishing act isn't a simple runaway story. Mei Ling's warning about greedy gold rings in his ears, and Patrick's staring like he expects Jack to muck it up. Tomorrow, Jack's cornering William for the truth about Golden Creek. But as he drifts off, that rhythmic sound's back, louder, from the bush. Is it a shovel, a ghost, or something watching, waiting for Jack to dig too deep? He's about to find out, ready or not. Jack Murphy's clutching a tin cup of tea that's more grit than comfort, his eyes fixed on the fire's dying embers. It's early September 1851, and the Bathurst goldfields are restless under a sky heavy with stars. That cursed nugget from William Old Wolf Thompson's pan, pea-sized, gleaming, pulled from the secret Golden Creek, sits heavy in Jack's pocket, like it's whispering trouble. Last episode, Jack tailed William into the bush, saved him from Frederick Sharp-Nose Harris and his thug Mate, and learned Golden Creek's no myth. But Frederick's talk of a missing digger, Jimmy, and William's warning of a curse have Jack's nerves jangling like a loose pan. Patrick, his kangaroo sidekick, is sprawled by the tent, giving a look that says, "You're in over your head, mate." Jack's not sure if he's chasing gold or a grave, but he's too deep to turn back. We're plunging into the heart of the goldfields' chaos, where hopes as fleeting as a cool breeze and secrets are buried deeper than the gold. This episode, Jack's pushing William for answers, dodging Frederick's schemes, and wrestling with whether Golden Creek's worth the risk. Expect dust, danger, and a wry nod to the folly of chasing dreams in a land that bites. Let's dig in. A morning of questions, Dawn breaks over Bathurst, painting the hills in gold that's more tease than treasure. The goldfields are a mess of tents, pits and diggers, already at their pans, chasing flecks in the muddy creeks. The air's thick with dust and the hum of work. Pans clanging, voices cursing, flies plotting world domination. Jack's up early, his back stiff from a night on his straw mattress, which he's sure is stuffed with pure spite. He brews tea, burns his damper, again, and glares at Patrick, who's eyeing the bread like it's a 5-course meal. "Touch it, and your boots," Jack mutters, but he tosses the roux a charred bit anyway. His mind's on William. The old man's been a mate, teaching Jack to pan and spinning tales of California's glory days, but that nugget and his talk of a curse have cracked the trust. Jack's not one for ghost stories. He's dodged enough real trouble in Cork, but Mei Ling's warning about greedy gold taking more than it gives is stuck in his head like a bad tune. He needs the truth, and he's not waiting for William to volunteer it. Jack finds William by the creek, panning with a focus that doesn't match his usual yarn-spinning swagger. The old man's beard is dustier than usual, his eyes darting like he's expecting company. "Morning, Wolf," Jack says, keeping it light. William grunts, not looking up. Jack's done with dancing around. "That nugget last night, Golden Creek, you said it's cursed. Time to talk, mate." William's pan pauses, water dripping. "You're a stubborn one, Murphy," he sighs, wiping his brow. "Some things you're better off not knowing." Jack's not buying it. "Jimmy's gone, Frederick's circling like a vulture, and you're panning in the dark. I saved your hide last night, so spill." William's shoulders sag, and he motions Jack to a quiet spot under a gum tree, away from the creek's bustle. "All right, lad," he says, voice low, "but keep it close, or we're both done." The tale of Golden Creek. William's story comes slow, like he's pulling it from a deep pit. Golden Creek's no ordinary claim. It's a narrow, hidden stream, tucked in the bush a mile from the main fields. The gold there's richer, nuggets, not just flakes, enough to make a digger's dreams real. But it's got a shadow. "Found it a month back," William says, puffing his pipe. "Me and Jimmy, a Scots lad, quiet type. We panned one night, struck a vein. Thought we'd be kings." His eyes darken. "Then Jimmy got greedy, kept going back, alone. Last I saw him, he was raving about a voice in the creek. Next day, gone, no trace." Jack's skeptical. "A voice? Come off it, Wolf. He probably bolted with a sack of gold." William shakes his head. "No sack, no tracks. And there's more. The creek's wrong. Water's too cold, even in summer. You pan long, you feel watched." He leans closer. "Locals, indigenous folks, avoid it. Say it's a spirit's place. Take too much. It takes you." Jack snorts, but a chill crawls up his spine. He's heard tall tales, but William's fear is real, and Jimmy's absence isn't. Then there's Frederick. William says the trader got wind of the creek, likely from Jimmy's loose lips. He's been sniffing around, him and his dogs, Big Tom and Mate. They want it all, and they don't share. Jack's gut twists, remembering Frederick's threat by the grog shop. "Keep quiet, or you'll end up like him." "So why not tell the traps?" Jack asks. William scoffs. "License inspectors? They're as bent as Frederick's maps. They'd claim the creek and fine us for breathing." Jack's head spinning. A gold-rich creek, a missing digger, a curse. It's a lot for a man whose biggest win was stealing a loaf in Cork. But that nugget in his pocket feels like a hook, pulling him deeper. The goldfield's boiling point back at Murphy's Hope. Jack tries to focus on panning, but the creek's just giving him rocks and regrets. The goldfields are edgier today. The license fee, 30 shillings a month, a king's ransom for scraps, is biting harder. Jack's seen diggers hiding from traps, and yesterday a Welshman named Rees got dragged off for an expired license, his claim snatched by a smirking rival. The camp's grumbling louder, and there's talk of a meeting to push back. "Pay to dig our own graves," Tommy, the Cockney, spits, tossing a pebble. Jack nods, his own license fee due soon, his vial of flakes too light to cover it. The camp's still a circus, though. Mei Ling's noodle tent is a haven, her broth a miracle for sore bones. Jack trades a flake for a bowl, and she's sharper today. Trouble's brewing, she says, chopping carrots like they've wronged her. Not just fees. Frederick's been flashing gold, more than a trader should have. Jack's ears prick. Golden Creek? May shrugs, but her eyes say she's not surprised. Watch your back, Irish. You're too nosy for your own good. Jack grins, but it's thin. Nosy's gotten him far, but it's also landed him in chains before. At the grog shop, the mood's sour. Father Thomas, the card-sharp priest, is preaching peace, but diggers are swapping stories of traps and fines. Li Wei, the Chinese panner, mentions a rumor. Some diggers are hiding claims, working at night to dodge fees. Jack thinks of William's secret panning and wonders if Golden Creek's part of the underground game. The thoughts cut short when he spots Frederick across the camp, his gold chain glinting like a taunt. Big Tom's with him, glaring at anyone who looks too long. Jack ducks behind a tent, not ready for a showdown. A dangerous plan. By afternoon, Jack's back with William, who's looking older, like the creek's aging him. Jack's not letting up. If Golden Creek's that rich, why not stake it proper? Get a crew, scare Frederick off. William's laugh is bitter. You think I haven't tried? It's not just Frederick. That place, it changes you. Jimmy wasn't the first. Another digger, months back, vanished same way. I'm only panning enough to get by, then I'm gone. Jack's torn, the gold's tempting, his dream of a cork pub feels closer. But William's fear and May's warning are loud in his head. Then William drops a bombshell. I'm panning tonight, one last go. Need enough to skip Bathurst before Frederick moves in. Come with me, Jack. You're quick, and that trick with the rock was sharp. Split the take, 50-50. Jack hesitates. It's a chance at real gold, but it's also a step into whatever spooked Jimmy. Patrick, lounging nearby, gives a look that screams, don't be daft. But Jack's never been one for safe bets. I'm in, he says, ignoring the knot in his gut. But no secrets, Wolf. Full truth, or I walk. William nods, grim. Deal. Meet me at the big gum tree midnight. Bring a pan. Keep it quiet. Jack's not thrilled about sneaking through the bush again. Last night's possum encounter was enough. But the promise of a nugget like William's is too big to ignore. Night moves and new troubles. Midnight finds Jack at the gum tree, pan in hand, lantern dimmed. The goldfields are quiet, save for distant fiddle strains and the odd snore. William's waiting, his face all shadows. They slip into the bush, the air cool but heavy, like it's holding its breath. Jack's jumpy, every rustle's Big Tom in his mind, but William's steady, leading to the narrow creek. Golden Creek. The water's dark, glinting under moonlight, and it's colder than it should be, raising goosebumps on Jack's arms. They pan in silence, the rhythmic splash of their work blending with the creek's murmur. It's eerie, and Jack gets why William's spooked. The bush feels alive, watching. They're not 10 minutes in when William's pan catches a glint, a nugget bigger than last night's. Jack's pulse races, but before he can cheer, a twig snaps, loud as a gunshot. William freezes. Hide, he hisses, dousing the lantern. Jack ducks behind a rock, heart hammering. Footsteps crunch closer. 2 sets, heavy. It's Frederick and Marta, lanterns swinging. Told you he'd be back, Frederick sneers. Greedy old fool. Mate grumbles. Let's finish it quick. Jack's no fighter, but he's not leaving William to these snakes. He grabs a stick, ready to swing, when another sound cuts through. A low guttural hum, not human, from the creek itself. Frederick stops, lantern shaking. You hear that? Mate's voice cracks. Like last time. The hum grows, vibrating in Jack's chest, and the air turns icy. Frederick curses and they bolt, lanterns bobbing into the dark. Jack and William don't wait to figure out what that was. They grab their pans, William pockets the nugget, and they sprint back to camp, breathless. At Jack's tent, William's pale as ash. "That's what I meant," he pants. "The creek's not right." Jack's shaking, the hum still in his bones. "What was that?" William just shakes his head. "Don't know, don't want to." Jack sprawled by his fire, the new nugget, split with William, burning a hole in his pocket. Golden Creek's real, and its gold could buy his dreams, but that hum, Jimmy's fate, and Frederick's threats are piling up like bad debts. The camp's on edge, with license fees sparking talk of rebellion, and Mei Ling's words about gold's cost are louder than ever. Patrick's watching, like he knows Jack's about to do something stupid. Tomorrow Jack's got a choice: push deeper into Golden Creek's secrets or play it safe and stick to his claim. But as sleep pulls him under, that hum echoes again, faint but closer, like the creek's calling his name. Trouble's coming, and Jack's not sure he can outrun it. A troubled dawn. Jack Murphy's awake before dawn, the ghostly hum of Golden Creek still rattling his bones. It's mid-September 1851, and the Bathurst goldfields are a powder keg of greed and grumbling. The nugget in his pocket, his half of last night's haul from that cursed creek, feels like a stone dragging him down. Last episode, Jack and William Old Wolf Thompson panned in secret, struck gold, and barely escaped Frederick Sharp-Nose Harris and his thug mate, spooked by a chilling, unearthly hum from the creek. William's talk of missing diggers and a spirit's curse has Jack questioning his choices, while Patrick, his kangaroo mate, glares like he's betting on Jack's next mistake. The camp's buzzing with talk of rebellion against license fees, and Jack's caught between a shot at riches and a creeping dread that Golden Creek wants more than he's willing to give. We're wading deeper into the goldfield's grit, where every choice is a gamble and trust is rarer than a cool day. This episode, Jack's wrestling with temptation, meeting a new face who knows more than they let on, and facing a move from Frederick that could end his digging days. Expect sweat, schemes, and a wry glance at the cost of chasing shiny dreams. Let's get to it. A day of doubt. The sun's barely up, and Bathurst is already baking, the hills scarred with pits and dreams. The goldfields hum with activity, pans splash, diggers curse, and flies hold court like they own the place. Jack's at his claim, Murphy's hope, but his heart's not in it. The nugget from Golden Creek is tucked in his sock, his one clean one, naturally, safe from prying eyes but heavy on his mind. It's enough to pay his license fee, maybe buy a proper tent, but every time he touches it, that hum echoes, like a warning he can't shake. He's barely slept, replaying William's story. Jimmy's vanishing, the creek's strange cold, the indigenous warning about spirits. Jack's no believer in ghosts. He's faced worse in Cork's alleys, but that hum wasn't just wind, and Frederick's threat about ending up like Jimmy isn't idle. Patrick's lounging by the tent, chewing a stick and giving Jack a look that says, "Told you to stick to damper." Jack tosses him a crust. "Keep your opinions to yourself," he mutters, but the ruse smug stare isn't wrong. William's scarce today, likely licking his wounds after last night's scare. Jack's alone at the creek, panning mechanically, his vial of flakes growing slower than his blisters. The camp's mood is sour, license traps are out in force, and word spreading of a digger meeting tonight to demand lower fees. Jack's due to pay his 30 shillings soon, and his haul's too light without selling that nugget. "Dig or dream, Murphy," he grumbles, splashing water. Either way, you're knackered. A new face in the dust mid-morning, Jack's at Mei Ling's noodle tent, trading a flake for a bowl of broth that's worth more than half the claims in Bathurst. May's her usual sharp self, slicing vegetables with a precision that makes Jack wince. "You look like you've seen a ghost," she says, not looking up. Jack shrugs, slurping. "Just tired. Long night." May's eyes narrow. "Heard you and Wolf were out late. Mind that creek talk, Irish. It's bad luck." Jack's about to probe when a shadow falls over the tent. It's a newcomer, a wiry indigenous man in his 30s, dressed in a mix of digger's gear and traditional patterns. His name's Wirra, and he's got a quiet strength, like he's seen the land's secrets and kept them close. He's panning nearby, guiding diggers through the bush for a fee, but May knows him from way back. Wirra's all right, she says, passing him a bowl. Doesn't cheat, unlike some. The jab's aimed at Frederick, who's been dodging May's tent since she called his maps snake oil. Wirra's not chatty, but his eyes miss nothing. Jack, feeling bold, mentions the creek carefully. Heard of a spot called Golden Creek? Supposed to be rich. Wirra's spoon pauses and he gives Jack a long look. You don't want that place, he says, voice low. Gold's there, sure, but it's Ngurunga, spirit ground. Take what you need, no more, or it keeps you. Jack's skin prickles. It's too close to William's tale, and Wirra's calm certainty isn't the grog shop gossip he's used to. Keeps you how? Jack presses. Wirra just shakes his head. Ask your mate Wolf, he knows. Jack's rattled, but hides it with a grin. Cheers, Wirra, I'll stick to my patch. But as Wirra leaves, May leans in. Listen to him, Jack. My pa said the same. That creek's no place for dreamers. Jack nods, but the nugget in his sock feels hotter, like it's daring him to go back. The camp's breaking point by noon. The goldfields are a furnace, and Jack's shirt is glued to his skin. He's panning when Tommy, the Cockney, runs up, breathless. Meeting tonight, mate. Grog shop after dark. We're done with these bloody fees. Jack's heard the talk, but Tommy's fire is new. Reese's arrest has lit a fuse. Count me in, Jack says, wiping sweat. He's not one for speeches, but the fees are bleeding him dry, and a united front might scare the traps off. The day drags, and Jack's haul is pitiful, just a flake or two. He's at the grog shop by dusk, where the air's thick with smoke and anger. 50 diggers are crammed in, voices loud. Irish, Scots, Chinese, even a few women who pan as hard as any man. Father Thomas tries to calm the crowd, but Tommy's on a crate shouting, "We're not sheep. 30 shillings to dig dirt? It's theft." Lee Wei adds, "They fine us for nothing, take our claims." The room roars agreement, and Jack feels the heat. It's not just fees, it's the trap's smirks, the governor's greed. Someone yells for a petition, another calls for a fight. Jack stays quiet, but his blood's up. Then Frederick slinks in, all charm and gold chain, Big Tom looming behind. "Gents, let's be reasonable," he purrs. "Petitions won't move the governor. Pay up, dig on." The crowd jeers, and Jack catches Frederick's eye, cold, calculating. He's not here to help, he's fishing for allies. Maybe to cover his Golden Creek scheme. Jack slips out, not trusting the trader's game. Frederick's move back at his tent. Jack's cleaning his pan when trouble finds him. Big Tom and mate appear, Frederick trailing like a fox. "Murphy," Frederick says, smile sharp as a blade. "Heard you've been nosing around my business." Jack's heart skips, but he plays dumb. "Just panning, mate. You selling another dud map?" Frederick's laugh is thin. "Cute. I know you and Wolf hit Golden Creek. Hand over what you got, or Tom here gets creative." Jack's no brawler, Big Tom's built like a barn, but he's not folding. "Got nothing but blisters," he says, gripping his pan. Mate steps forward, but Patrick, bless his scruffy hide, chooses that moment to lunge, thumping Mate's shin with a headbutt. Mate yelps, and Jack swings the pan, catching Tom's arm. It's chaos for a second, Patrick hopping, Jack dodging, until Frederick snarls, "Enough! You're marked, Murphy. That gold's mine." They retreat, but Jack's shaking. He's bought time, not safety. He hides the nugget deeper in his tent, under the mattress, and checks his license, still valid, but not for long. Frederick's not bluffing, and Jack's out of tricks. He needs William, but the old man's vanished, likely spooked by last night's hum. A risky alliance desperate, Jack tracks down Wirra at the camp's edge, where he's sharpening a shovel. Need your help, Jack says, laying it out. Frederick's threat, Golden Creek's gold, the hum. Wirra listens, face unreadable. You're a fool, Irish, he says finally, but you're honest. I'll show you the creek's edge, tell you what I know. Not for gold, for balance. That place needs respecting. Jack's not sure what balance means, but Wirra's the only one talking straight. Deal, he says. Tonight? Wirra nods. Midnight. No lanterns. Follow my steps. Jack's stomach lurches. Another night in that cursed bush, but he's got no better play. He spends the evening at the digger meeting, where plans for a petition take shape, though some want torches and fists. Jack's distracted, his mind on the creek and Frederick's threat. Mei Ling catches him outside, her face stern. You're going back, aren't you? Jack shrugs, caught. Stay here, Jack, she says. Gold's not worth your neck. But Jack's stubborn, and the nugget's pull is stronger than her words. Back to the creek midnight's dark as ink, and Jack meets Wirra at the camp's edge. Patrick's left behind, sulking. Jack's not risking his furry mate. Wirra moves like a shadow, guiding Jack through the bush without a sound. The air's heavy, the gum trees looming like judges. They reach Golden Creek, its water black and glinting. Wirra points to a bend. There's your gold. Pan quick, take little. More, and you'll hear it again. Jack's about to ask what it is when Wirra stiffens, ear to the ground. Someone's coming, he whispers. It's William, pan in hand, looking haunted. Couldn't stay away, he mutters, seeing Jack. Need one more? Wirra's face hardens. You've taken enough, old man. Before Jack can mediate, a shout cuts through. Frederick with Big Tom and Mayte, lanterns blazing. Got you. Frederick crows, shovel raised, Jack's trapped, Wirra's tense and William's frozen. The creek hums again, low and angry, vibrating the air. Wirra grabs Jack's arm. Run, now! But Jack's eyes are on the nugget in William's hand, glinting like a curse, and he's not sure he can let it go. Jack's heart's pounding, the creek's hum rising like a storm. Frederick's closing in, Wirra's pulling him back, and William's clutching gold that might cost them all. The goldfields are a tinderbox, with diggers planning defiance and traps circling like wolves. Mei Ling's warning, Wirra's talk of spirits, and that unholy hum are screaming at Jack to walk away. But the gold's pull is fierce, and his dreams of Ireland are so close. Patrick's back at camp, probably judging, but Jack's got no time for sense. As the creek's hum turns to a roar, something moves in the shadows. Man, spirit, or worse. Jack's about to find out if Golden Creek gives or takes, and he's not sure he's ready for the answer. A stand in the dark, Jack Murphy's boots are rooted to the cold earth of Golden Creek. The air thick with a hum that's more alive than any sound should be. It's late September 1851, and the Bathurst goldfields are a storm waiting to break. Frederick Sharp Nose Harris, shovel raised, stands with Big Tom and Mate, their lanterns casting shadows like claws. William Old Wolf Thompson clutches a nugget, his face pale, while Wirra, the indigenous guide, grips Jack's arm, urging him to run. Last episode, Jack ignored warnings from Mei Ling and Wirra, chasing Golden Creek's gold despite its curse. The creek's hum, low, angry, unnatural, vibrates in his chest, and something moves in the bush. Not quite human. Patrick's back at camp, likely judging, but Jack's too deep in this mess to care. The gold's within reach, but so is trouble, and he's not sure which will claim him first. We're at the heart of the goldfields' madness, where greed and fear collide, and Golden Creek's secrets demand a price. This episode, Jack faces a fight he can't dodge, learns the truth behind the creek's curse, and sees the camp's anger boil over. Expect blood, dust, and a wry nod to the folly of betting it all on a glint. Let's dive in. Chaos at the creek, the hum from Golden Creek swells, a deep roar that shakes the ground. Frederick's smirk falters, his shovel dipping as he glances at the water. "What the hell's that?" Mate mutters, lantern trembling. Big Tom, all muscle and no brains, growls, "Shut it and grab 'em." But Wirra's faster, pulling Jack behind a boulder. William's not so quick. Frederick lunges, knocking the nugget from his hand. It hits the creek with a splash, and the hum spikes, sharp as a scream. The water ripples, unnatural, like it's alive. Jack's no hero, but he's not heartless. He grabs a branch, swinging at Mate, who stumbles into the creek, cursing. Wirra's a blur, tossing dirt in Big Tom's face, blinding him. William scrambles for the nugget, but Frederick's on him, fist raised. "You're done, old man," he snarls. Jack's about to charge when the hum turns deafening and the air goes frigid. A shadow, tall, formless, more mist than man, rises from the creek, eyes like cold stars. Frederick freezes, face white. "Jimmy!" He chokes like he's seen a ghost. Wirra hisses, "Ngarunga! Run now!" Jack doesn't need telling twice. He hauls William up, Wirra leading the way as they bolt through the bush, branches whipping their faces. Behind, Frederick's shouting, Mate screaming, and Big Tom's thrashing in the water. The hum chases them, fading only when they hit the camp's edge, gasping, hearts pounding. William's empty-handed, the nugget gone. Jack's sock still hides his own, but it feels like a coal burning through. The truth of the creek back at Jack's tent, dawn's creeping in, painting the gold fields in a sickly grey. Patrick's there, giving a look that screams, "Told you so." Jack's too shaken to snap back. William's slumped by the fire, looking a decade older, while Wirra's calm but grim. "That was the spirit," Wirra says, sharpening a stick. "Njurunga guards the creek. Take too much, it takes you." Jimmy learned that. So did others. Jack's skeptical heart wavers. That shadow wasn't grog or a trick of light. "Jimmy's dead?" he asks. Wirra nods. "Greed called the spirit. It kept him." William's voice cracks. "I should have stopped him. Found the creek together, but he wouldn't quit." Then Frederick heard, "Wanted it all." Jimmy rambled about a voice, then vanished. "I thought it was nonsense." He trails off, guilt heavy. Jack's gut twists. The hum, the cold, the shadow. It's real, and his nugget's tied to it. "Why keep going back?" he demands. William sighs. "Gold's a fever, lad. Thought I could take just enough. Get out. Nearly cost us tonight." Wirra's eyes bore into Jack. "You've taken too. Return it, or it'll call you next." Jack's hand drifts to his sock, the nugget's weight a taunt. His dream, a pub in Cork, free of flies and hunger, is so close, but Mei Ling's warning, Wirra's words, and that shadow's stare are louder. He's not sure he can let go, but keeping it feels like signing a bad deal. The camp's fury, the goldfields are a hornet's nest by morning. The digger meetings sparked action. A petition circulating, demanding lower fees, and Tommy's rallying men to march on the governor's outpost tomorrow. Jack's at Murphy's Hope, panning to clear his head, but the creek's just mud and misery. The traps are everywhere, fining diggers left and right. Lee Wei gets slapped with a penalty for a dirty claim, and a Scots woman, Maggie, nearly swings at a trap for stealing her flakes. Jack's license is due tomorrow, and without selling his nugget, he's sunk. Mei Ling's tent is a refuge, her noodles a fleeting comfort. Jack spills the night's chaos, Frederick's attack, the shadow, the hum. May's knife pauses, her face tight. "Told you, Jack, that creek's poison. Give the gold back, or you're next." Jack wants to argue, but her fear mirrors Wirra's, and he's running out of bluster. "What about Frederick?" he asks. May snorts. "He's a snake, but he's scared now. Saw him at the grog shop, pale as death, muttering about ghosts." Jack's not sure Frederick's done. The trader's too greedy to quit, spirit or no. And the camp's unrest is a bigger worry. Rumours say the traps are calling for reinforcements, and some diggers are hiding weapons. Jack's no rebel, but the fees are choking him, and the petition's his only shot at staying afloat. Frederick's Gambit. By afternoon, Jack's at the grog shop, signing the petition with a shaky hand. The room's packed, voices hot, Tommy's preaching defiance, Father Thomas urging calm. Then Frederick struts in, gold chain gone, but his smirk's back. "Heard you had a rough night, Murphy," he says, loud enough for heads to turn. Jack tenses, but Frederick's not swinging. He's scheming. "Petition's a waste," he tells the crowd. "Governor won't budge. But I've got a claim, rich as Bathurst. Join me, split the take, and we dodge the fees." He's talking Golden Creek, Jack knows it, and the crowd's listening, desperate for a win. Jack's blood boils. Frederick's using the creek to buy loyalty, painting over its curse with promises. He stands, voice steady despite his nerves. That claim's a trap. Frederick's maps are lies, and his rich creek's got a body count. Ask about Jimmy. The room murmurs, eyes on Frederick, who laughs, but it's forced. Murphy's spooked by shadows. Stick with me or keep begging the governor. Some diggers nod, swayed, but Tommy and Lee Way back Jack, and the petition holds for now. Outside, Frederick corners Jack, Big Tom looming. "You'll regret that," he hisses. "I know you've got gold. Hand it over, or I tell the traps you're hiding an illegal claim." Jack's trapped. Frederick's got no proof, but a trap's word is law, and Jack's license is shaky. He shoves past, heart racing, knowing time's running out. A choice at dusk, Jack finds Wirra by the creek, watching the water like it's speaking. "Frederick's rallying diggers," Jack says. "He'll strip Golden Creek bare." Wirra's face is stone. "He'll wake the Ngurunga. More will die." Jack pulls the nugget from his sock, its shine mocking him. "If I give this back, will it stop?" Wirra's eyes soften. "It's a start. The creek wants balance. Return what you took, show respect." But Frederick won't. Jack's torn, his dreams are crumbling, but the shadow's eyes are burned in his mind. William appears, looking hollow. "I'm done, Jack. No more creek. I'm leaving Bathurst." He hands Jack a small flake, his last. "For your trouble, don't follow my path." Jack wants to argue, but William's broken and the fight's gone out of him. Alone, Jack heads to Mei Ling's tent, confessing his plan to return the nugget. She nods, rare warmth in her eyes. "Smartest thing you've done, Irish. But hurry, Frederick's moving tonight." Jack's got a plan, risky as hell. He'll sneak to Golden Creek at midnight, with Wirra's help, to return the nugget and warn off Frederick's crew. But the camp's a tinderbox, the petition's march is set for dawn, and traps are patrolling. Jack's not sure he can dodge both Frederick and the law, but he's tired of running. Return to the creek midnight's cold, and Jack meets Wirra at the bush's edge, Patrick left sulking at the tent. Wirra's silent, leading Jack to Golden Creek's bend. The water's still, but the air's heavy, like it's waiting. Jack pulls the nugget out, its weight a relief and a loss. "Here's your balance," he whispers, tossing it into the creek. The hum rises, soft, almost approving, then fades. Wirra nods. "Good. Now we warn the others." They spot Frederick's crew, 10 diggers, plus Big Tom and mate, panning greedily. Frederick's barking orders, oblivious to the creek's chill. Jack steps out, Wirra at his side. "Stop now," Jack shouts. "This place is cursed. You saw the shadow, Jimmy's gone, and you'll follow." Frederick laughs, but his men hesitate, some dropping pans. "Rubbish," Frederick snaps. "Dig, or you're out." But the hum returns, louder, and the shadow rises again, taller, its eyes locking on Frederick. Panic erupts. Diggers flee. Mate trips into the creek. Big Tom swings wildly. Frederick's frozen, screaming as the shadow looms. Wirra pulls Jack back. "It's not for us," he says. They run, the hum a roar behind them. Jack doesn't look back, but Frederick's cries cut off, sharp and final. Jack's back at camp, dawn breaking, the creek's hum a faint echo. Frederick's gone, dead, taken or fled, no one's sure. His crew's scattered, some babbling about spirits, others swearing off Golden Creek. The petition march is hours away, and the goldfields are ready to explode, with traps massing and diggers arming. Jack's free of the nugget, but his vial's near empty, and his license is due. Mei Ling's proud, Weira's watchful, and Patrick's smug, but Jack's not out of the fire. William's leaving, and the camp's fate hangs on the march. Can Jack hold his claim, or will the goldfields' fury swallow him? And what's left in Golden Creek, waiting for the next fool to dig too deep? A fragile dawn Jack Murphy's slumped by his tent, the dawn sky over Bathurst a bruised purple, the air heavy with dust and the promise of trouble. It's late September 1851, and the goldfields are a cauldron ready to boil over. Last night, Golden Creek claimed its price. Frederick Sharp-Nose Harris is gone, his screams silenced by the Ngurunga, the creek's vengeful spirit. His crews scattered, some swearing off the cursed stream, others too spooked to talk. Jack returned his nugget to the creek, hoping to appease its wrath, but his vial of gold flakes is nearly empty, and his license fees due today. Patrick, his kangaroo mate, is chewing a stick, giving Jack a look that says, "You're still mucking it up." The diggers' march against the license fees is hours away, and Jack's caught between holding his claim and surviving the storm. William's leaving, Mei Ling's watching, and Weira's words about balance linger like a debt unpaid. We're in the goldfields' final reckoning, where hope's a flicker and defiance is all that's left. This episode, Jack navigates a camp on the brink, faces the trap's iron fist, and wrestles with what's worth fighting for. Expect grit, guts, and a wry glance at the dreams that keep men digging. Let's roll. A morning of ashes. The goldfields wake to a tense hum, not unlike Golden Creek's, but this one's human. Anger, fear, and stubborn hope. Tents flap in a hot wind, pans lie abandoned, and diggers huddle in knots, whispering about the march. Jack's at Murphy's hope, his claim more mud than promise, panning just to keep his hands busy. His vial holds a few flakes, barely enough for a beer, let alone the 30-shilling fee. The nugget's gone, and with it, his dream of a cork pub. "Back to square one, eh, Patrick?" he mutters. The roo flicks an ear unimpressed. William's packing his tent, his beard greyer, his eyes hollow. "Heading to Sydney," he says, slinging a bag. "Gold's a young man's game, Jack. Don't let it eat you." Jack wants to argue. William's been his guide, his mate. But the old man's done, broken by the creek's shadow. He hands Jack a worn panning tip, scribbled on a scrap. "Swirl slow, let the gold settle." "Last lesson," William says, then trudges off, a ghost in the dust. Jack's alone, and it stings more than he'll admit. Mei Ling's tent is a beacon, her noodles a lifeline. Jack trades his last flake for a bowl, spilling the creek's chaos. "Frederick's gone," he says. "Spirit got him." May's not surprised, her knife steady as she chops. "Good riddance. But the creek's not done, Jack. You did right giving back. Now stay clear." Her eyes soften, rare as rain. "You're not as dumb as you look, Irish." Jack grins, but it's thin. His empty vial and looming fee say he's dumber than she thinks. The march takes shape. By mid-morning, the goldfields are a hive. Tommy, the Cockney firebrand, is rallying diggers at the grog shop, the petition clutched like a battle flag. "We march at noon," he shouts. "No more fees, no more traps stealing our sweat." The crowd, Irish, Scots, Chinese, women like Maggie, roars, some waving picks, others hiding knives. Leeway's quiet but firm, signing the petition with a steady hand. Jack's there, signing too, his name shaky. He's no rebel, but the fees are a noose and he's choking. Father Thomas tries to cool the heat, preaching peace from a crate. "Petition, not blood," he urges, but the crowd's past sermons. A rumour's spreading. Traps are massing at the outpost, a mile off, with soldiers from Sydney. Jack's seen traps rough up diggers, but soldiers. That's a fight no one's ready for. He spots Big Tom in the crowd, Frederick's old muscle, looking lost without his boss. Mates gone, likely fled. The camp's splitting, some for the march, others packing to run. Jack finds Wirra by the creek, watching the water like it's a book. March won't change much, Wirra says, voice low. Greed's in the traps too, but you're clean of the creek, that's something. Jack's not so sure. Clean but broke, license is due and I've got nothing. Wirra's eyes are steady. Land gives what you need, not what you want. Stay honest, you'll find a way. Jack wants to believe him, but honesty's a tough sell when traps are circling. The march begins, noon hits, and the march starts. A ragged line of 200 diggers, Tommy and Maggie at the front, petition raised. Jack's in the middle, heart pounding, his pan left at the tent with Patrick guarding it, or eating it. The outpost is a squat wooden fort, flanked by gum trees and traps in blue coats, their muskets glinting. A dozen soldiers stand ready, bayonets fixed, faces hard. The diggers halt 50 yards out, dust swirling. Tommy steps forward, petition in hand, voice loud. We demand fair fees, 30 shillings is theft. The head trap, Captain Stokes, sneers from the outpost steps. Pay or lose your claims. Governor's orders. The crowd jeers, picks raised, but Stokes lifts a hand and soldiers aim. Jack's stomach drops. This isn't a debate, it's a trap. Maggie shouts, we're not your dogs. And the diggers surge, not attacking but closing the gap. A soldier fires into the air, the crack freezing everyone. Stokes barks, disperse or we shoot to kill. Jack's no coward, but he's not daft. He grabs Tommy's arm, pulling him back. They'll slaughter us, he hisses. Tommy's eyes blaze, but he nods, waving the crowd to hold. The diggers retreat, cursing, the petition crumpled but unbowed. Stokes laughs, a sound Jack hates more than Frederick's smirk. Back at camp, the mood's black. Some diggers pack, others sharpen tools, whispering of a real fight. Jack's head spinning. The march failed, his license is due, and his claim's all he's got. A glimmer of hope. By afternoon, Jack's at his claim, panning desperately. The creek's stingy, but Wirra joins him, showing a trick. Angle the pan sharp, catch the light. It's slow, but Jack finds a flake. Then another, small but real. Not Golden Creek, Wirra says, but honest. Jack's vial grows, not enough for the fee, but a start. Mei Ling stops by, tossing him a bun. Heard about the march, she says. You didn't die. Progress, Jack chuckles, the first real laugh in days. Give it time. Then Li Wei runs up, breathless. Traps are coming, checking licenses, taking claims. Jack's blood runs cold, his license is in his tent, and he's got hours, maybe less. He sprints back, finding Patrick guarding the tent like a scruffy sentinel. The license is there, but his vial's too light, and traps don't take IOUs. He's about to hide when Wirra appears, calm as ever. Come with me, he says, there's a way. Wirra leads Jack to a quiet bend of Lewis Pond's Creek, not Golden Creek, but rich enough for small flakes. Pan here, he says. Land's kinder if you ask right. Jack's skeptical but desperate, panning with Wirra's precision. By dusk, his vial's heavier. Not a fortune, but enough to scrape by. Why help me? Jack asks. Wirra shrugs. You gave back to the Nungurunga. That's respect. Land sees it. Jack's not sure about spirits, but Wirra's real, and that's enough. The traps strike night falls, and the traps hit the camp like wolves. Jack's back at his tent, license clutched, when Stokes and his men storm through, checking papers, seizing pans. A digger, Reese, resists, and a trap cracks his skull with a musket butt. Jack shows his license, heart in his throat, and Stokes grunts, moving on. But Maggie's not so lucky. Her license lapsed, and traps drag her off, her claim marked for auction. The camp's a mess, tents torn, diggers hiding or fighting back in small, doomed scuffles. Tommy's rallying again, quieter now, in Mei Ling's tent. "We can't win with petitions," he says. "Need a real stand, like Eureka down south." Jack's heard of Eureka, a rebellion brewing in Victoria, and it's tempting, but he's tired of fighting, of losing. Mei Ling's eyes meet his. "You're not them, Jack. Find your own way." Wirra nods, silent but firm. Jack's not sure what his way is, but running's not it. A last stand. Late that night, Jack's by his fire, Patrick snoring nearby. His vial's got just enough for the fee, thanks to Wirra, but the camp's breaking. He's thinking of William, of Golden Creek's shadow, when Tommy slips in, face grim. "Some lads are planning a raid. Hit the outpost, burn it." "You in?" Jack's tempted. Stokes's sneer deserves it. But Wirra's talk of balance, Mei Ling's faith, stop him. "Not my fight," he says, "but I'll help another way." Jack's got an idea, risky but his own. He'll pay his fee tomorrow, keep his claim, and pan with Wirra's tricks, staying clear of Golden Creek. He'll warn diggers about the creek's curse, keep Frederick's fate fresh. It's not a pub in Cork, but it's a life, honest as the dirt under his nails. He's not sure he's ready, but the goldfields don't wait for ready. Jack's fire's dying, the goldfields quiet but wounded, traps patrolling like kings. His license is safe for now, his vial just enough, but the camp's on a knife's edge. Some diggers plan a desperate raid, others are fleeing. Mei Ling's watching, Wirra's guiding, and Patrick's judging, but Jack's choosing his path, one flake at a time. Golden Creek's shadow looms, its hum a faint whisper, and Jack wonders if it's truly done with him. Tomorrow he'll face the traps, the camp's fury, and his own heart. Will he hold his ground, or will the goldfields break him like so many before? One last dig, and Jack's fate is his to shape, a dawn of choices. Jack Murphy's sitting on his stump, the Bathurst goldfields quiet under a dawn sky streaked with pink and gold. It's early October 1851, and the air's thick with dust and the weight of choices made. His vial of gold flakes, earned through honest panning with Wirra's tricks, is just enough to pay his license fee, keeping Murphy's hope his for another month. Last episode, the diggers' march failed, traps cracked down, and Jack dodged a raid on the outpost, choosing a quieter path. Golden Creek's Ngurunga took Frederick, William's gone to Sydney, and the camp's teetering on rebellion or collapse. Patrick, his kangaroo mate, is sprawled nearby, giving a look that says, "You might have pulled this off, mate." Jack's not rich, but he's alive, and that's more than some can claim. Today he'll face the traps, the camp's fate, and his own heart, wondering if the goldfields are home or just a stop on the road. We're at the end of the goldfield saga, where every flake's a lesson and every dream's got a price. This episode, Jack makes his stand, finds what matters, and reckons with Golden Creek's final whisper. Expect dust, heart, and a grin at the stubborn spark that keeps a man digging. Let's finish this. A morning of resolve. The goldfields are a shadow of their former chaos. Tents are thinning. Some diggers fled after the traps raid. Others joined whispers of richer fields in Victoria. The grog shop's quiet. The fiddle's gone silent. But the creek still hums with stubborn pans. Jack's up early, his tent sagging but standing, his boots more whole than leather. He brews tea, burns his damper, some things never change, and tosses a crust to Patrick, who catches it like a king. "You're getting fat, mate," Jack grumbles, but there's a grin behind it. The ruse been his only constant, and that's worth more than a nugget. Jack's vial glints in the light, its flakes hard-won from Lewis Pond's creek, not Golden Creek's cursed shine. It's enough for the license, maybe a new pan, but not the cork pub he dreamed of. That dream's faded, replaced by something simpler. Surviving, staying true. Weira's words about balance, Mei Ling's faith, even William's broken farewell have sunk in. Jack's not the green lad who stumbled into Bathurst months ago. He's tougher, wiser, and maybe a bit less daft. Mei Ling's tent is his first stop. Her noodles are ritual now. He hands over a flake, joking, "Last one, unless Patrick starts panning." May's smile is rare but warm. "You're still here, Irish. That's more than most." Jack fills her in, license paid, claim held, Golden Creek left to its spirits. "Smart," she says, chopping onions. Camp's breaking though, traps won't quit, and Tommy's raids tonight. Jack's gut twists. Tommy's plan to burn the outpost is madness, but the Cockney's too stubborn to quit. "I'm out of that fight," Jack says. May nods. "Good, live for you, not them." Facing the traps mid-morning, Jack heads to the license office, a grim shack by the outpost. Captain Stokes is there, his sneer sharper than his musket. Jack slides his fee across, vial lighter but license stamped. "Smart lad," Stokes says, like it's an insult. "Keep paying, or you're out." Jack bites back a retort. Stokes's kind thrive on defiance, and walks away, claim secure. The outpost's buzzing, soldiers patrolling, traps eyeing every digger like a thief. The air's tense, like a storm's brewing, and Jack knows Tommy's raid will light the spark. Back at Murphy's Hope, Jack pans with Weira's trick, sharp angle, slow swirl. The creek's kind today, giving a flake or two, enough to keep him going. Weira joins him, silent but steady. "Camp's dying," Weira says, panning with a grace Jack envies. "Gold's moving south. You staying?" Jack pauses, water dripping. "Not sure. Got nothing back in Ireland but debts. Here's hard, but it's mine." Weira's eyes crinkle, almost a smile. "Land knows you now. That's enough." Jack's not sure about the land, but Weira's faith is an anchor. He thinks of Golden Creek, its hum a faint memory. He's not tempted. Frederick's fate, Jimmy's end, the Ningarunga's eyes cured him of that fever. But the creek's a reminder, take what you need, no more. He's learning, slow but sure. The camp's last stand by afternoon. The goldfields are a furnace, dust choking every breath. Jack's at the grog shop, where Lee Wei and Maggie are nursing beers, faces grim. Maggie's claim's gone, auctioned to a trap's mate, and she's heading to Ballarat, where diggers talk of Eureka, a stand against the governor. "Come with," she says to Jack, "real fight's there." Jack's tempted. Eureka's got fire, purpose, but he's tired of fights that break more than they build. "Maybe," he lies, knowing his fight's here, smaller but his. Tommy's in a corner, whispering with a dozen diggers, their eyes hard. Jack overhears, raids at midnight, torches and picks, hit the outpost and run. "Join us, Murphy," Tommy says, spotting him. "One last go." Jack shakes his head. "You'll get killed, mate. Stokes is waiting." Tommy's jaw tightens, but he nods, respect in his eyes. "Fair play. Keep your claim." Jack walks away, heart heavy. Tommy's a fool, but a brave one. Mei Ling finds Jack at his tent, her face tight. Traps know about the raid, spies everywhere. Jack curses. Tommy's walking into a slaughter. He wants to warn him, but the grog shop's empty, the raid already forming in the bush. Jack's done playing hero, but guilt gnaws. He grabs his pan, heads to the creek, panning to drown the noise. A flake glints, then another, and he laughs, bitter. "Land's kind now, eh?" Bit late. The raid's fallout midnight comes, and the goldfields erupt. Shouts, gunfire, the crack of burning wood. Tommy's raid hits the outpost, but it's a trap. Jack watches from his tent. Patrick alert, as flames light the sky. Diggers run back, some bloodied, others dragging mates. Tommy's not among them. By dawn, the outpost stands, scorched but whole, and traps are hauling diggers to a makeshift jail. Stokes parades through camp, barking, "Rebel and you hang." Jack stays low, license clutched, Patrick guarding the tent like a scruffy knight. The camp's broken. Half the diggers are packing, heading south or back to Sydney. Lee Wei's staying, his quiet grit unshaken. Maggie's gone, her last words a wave and a "see you at Eureka." Mei Ling's tent is still up, but she's talking of moving too. "Gold's drying here," she tells Jack, tossing him a bun. "You?" Jack shrugs. "Got a claim, a rue, and no sense. I'll stick." She laughs, a sound worth more than gold. Wirra stops by, his calm a balm. "Raid was foolish," he says. "But you chose right. Land's yours if you respect it." Jack nods, vial heavier with today's flakes. He's no king, but he's not a beggar, and that's enough. Golden Creek's hum is gone, or maybe he's just stopped listening. He hopes the Ngurunga's satisfied. Frederick's End, Jack's offering, seemed to have settled the score. A new dawn, a week later, Jack's at Murphy's Hope, panning steady, his vial growing, slow but sure. The goldfields are quieter, traps less bold with fewer diggers to bully. Stokes is recalled to Sydney, replaced by a gruff but fairer captain. The license fees still a sting, but Jack's learned to pan smarter, not harder, thanks to Wirra. Mei Ling's staying, her tent a hub for the stubborn few. Wirra's around, guiding new diggers, his wisdom a currency stronger than gold. Jack's tent is sturdier now, patched with canvas he traded for flakes. Patrick's claimed a corner, his lopsided ear a badge of loyalty. Jack's dreams have shifted. No cork pub, but maybe a patch of land, a shack, a life where flies don't win. He's written to his ma in Ireland, a letter full of half-truths and hope, promising to visit when his vial's full. It's not riches, but it's his. One evening by the creek, Jack finds a small flake glinting like a wink. He laughs, tucking it away. "Cheers, land," he says, half to Wirra's spirits, half to himself. Golden Creek's a shadow, its lesson carved deep. Take what you need, leave the rest. Jack's not sure what's next. Ballarat's calling, Eureka's brewing. But for now he's here, panning, living, home in the dust. Months later, Jack's still at Bathurst, his claim a steady trickle. He's no legend, just a digger with a rue and a knack for staying alive. Mei Ling's tent is a fixture, her noodles his North Star. Wirra's a friend, his story's better than gold. The goldfields shift, Eureka's fire burns south, changing the game. But Jack's found his balance, one flake at a time. Golden Creek's silent, its Ngurunga at rest, or maybe watching, waiting for the next fool. Jack's not that fool anymore. He pans, he grins, and he's home, wherever the creek leads. To my listeners, that's a wrap on Jack's tale, and I'm thrilled you joined me for every twist of this Goldfield saga. Your support brings these stories to life, and I'm grateful for you all. Loved this journey? Hit subscribe to stay with the channel, more tales are coming, and I don't want you missing out. Thanks, mates, and keep chasing your own spark.